hare's ears. Pheasant tails and hare's ears. We'll just use whatever thread we have on the bobbin. Some bead heads, various sizes. Start with a 14 and then a 2.8. I'd say that's the standard 14 2.8 millimeter tungsten bead. Some 2.8s. However, I'm gonna alter the materials a bit. Adding different tailing material, some different flash material. We'll start with an HE. HE is a hare's ear. GCHE, Guide's Choice Hare's Ear. I like the biot for the tail. If I can find the right color. You can go crazy with the color. You know, you could do like a red tail or a blue tail or whatever you want, really. Purple tail. Purple tail might be fun. I'm gonna try to tear this up. Yeah, there we go. And then what else? Split it. We'll put 2 on each side. 1 on each side, rather, 2 total. One on each side. Let's come up a little bit here. I'm tying the material up so the body is a little bit more uniform in girth and thickness. I didn't do a very good job of it. You could start back and tie down, that would have been smarter. But I'm trying to avoid having one part lumpier, and that's just simply aesthetic. There's nothing really important to that. But we'll do some dubbing for the body. Because we have a different color tail, maybe we do a different color body. This little greeny green. This is like a synthetic. I don't know, the name of this dubbing is Ultra Translucent. Ligas from Boulder, Colorado. This looks like a pretty old package dubbing. I'm not gonna rib it. Some people put a copper wire rib or gold wire rib. Gold rib hare's ear is a old school pattern. We'll wrap our abdomen and thorax. It's pretty bushy. That's okay. Trim it down just a bit here on the sides. We'll add something a little peacock curl for the thorax, and then we can do maybe a little CDC collar would be nice. I'm deciding whether to go synthetic or natural for our thorax. I think we're going synthetic. This is a little laser dub, a little darker laser dub, plus a little darker. I think this is semi-seal. We'll mix that little laser dub semi-seal mix. Tease that together. I'm going to rip up the laser dub because the fibers are pretty long. Just do a little dubbing blend. And then we'll do our rope. The semi-seal's pretty spiky, which is nice. And we want it slightly thicker than our abdomen, which is, our abdomen's pretty girthy to begin with. I think that's okay. I'm gonna skip the wing case. There's flash in the thorax. I don't need any kind of flashback, but a leg would be nice. And I think we'll do CDC, a little CDC collar for the leg, and a darker feather would be good for that. Yeah, here, this is a good one. So I've used most of this feather, but the tips are remaining, and one side of the tip is the perfect amount for our leg. Might even be too much. So we'll clip it, and then we'll trim it. And then we will split our thread. And insert the material. Kind of distribute that a little bit even so it can go all the way around our fly. Preen it, make it more manageable. And then go ahead and slowly wrap. And the long fibers are good. When the fly is wet, they'll kind of bind, and I don't think the movement is important, but the suggestive shape is what I believe is the value of CDC on nymphs. For dries, obviously, it's buoyancy, and then imprint, weight as well, very lightweight material for dry flies. But for nymphs, I think it's the suggestive qualities. So we'll just leave it just like that. We won't trim anything out. Let our thread unwind. Maybe blue would have been a good tail color. But that could be a caddis larva, that could be a mayfly nymph, could be just about anything. And I'm tying them weird because I'm just trying to fill a box. Just trying to fill a box. All right, finished. Let's do some more. Seeing the hooks, what kind of hooks we got here. Here's a good one. Oh, we gotta put a bead on it. We'll go with another 2.8. Slide that bead on there. Thread bump to lock the bead in place. Thread base. Let's go pheasant tail. Let's do 3. Three fibers for the tail. On these jig nymphs, you don't need a super dense tail. And a shorter, sparser looks a little bit better. I don't know if it fishes better, but it just looks a little bit better. Come up all the way. You could incorporate this into the body, but I'm just gonna do another set of pheasant tail for the body. We'll do 3 more fibers, time in tip first. And for this pattern, you do want a rib because the pheasant tail is pretty brittle. Some kind of rib would be nice. We'll do red wire. You can experiment with your rib variation. And then we'll put a wrap behind the rib. And then we'll go in front. And we can go all the way up, but we're gonna tie over it. I think the biggest mistake I make is the abdomen is too long, the thorax is too short. So I wrapped clockwise with the pheasant tail. I'm going to wrap counterclockwise with the rib. but even that will break over time. Not super, this is not a super strong pattern. So I'm almost halfway. I'm gonna add some peacock herl, and then, yeah, the CDC collar, I think, is the way to go here. So we'll do no wing case. No wing cases today. Some peacock herl. This has, no, I think this is just regular herl. Some of it's dyed. The herl, the stems, the butts are strong, but the middle is where the most of the material is. If you wrap the butts, you're gonna get a very sparse, which is good for some patterns. But I'm gonna trim it down. We'll save that for something else. Some people use the butts as like caddis larva legs. It looks pretty good. And peacock is also very brittle. So this part will eventually fail as well. And then we'll do some CDC. This is nice CDC, but not good for legs. Some lighter color. This one would be good. There's a few longies, but overall, not bad. Clip it, trim it. Could have used the same one we did for the hairs there. We could have done that for this fly. Having a little bit of trouble splitting it. This is a UTC thread, not good for this kind of tying. Or I'm sorry, this is a uni thread. UTC is better. Flat thread is better for this kind of tying, but we're just going with this uni thread right now. Okay, spin it up and then wrap it in. One wrap. That's the perfect amount. 2 wraps. This is overkill. But waste not, want not. We'll let that thread go. I'm a big fan of the long ones, but a couple of these, like this one is a little bit too long, and then this one. But everything else we can keep on there. Maybe not. Yeah. Looks okay. Let's tie a little bit bigger hare's ear. A little bit heavier. We'll do a 3.8. Okay. Trim that out. I'm going to what kind of tail material? I'm gonna try to extend the body of this, just the profile. It's pretty short, stubby hook, so I'm gonna add a softer feathery material for the tail of this nymph. Maybe even the tip of the feather, just so it has a little bit bigger profile. You could use the guard hairs of a hare's ear mask. You know, those work really well. Take that down. We'll have to account for this bump that we made when we do the abdomen. We'll do a natural hare's ear for the abdomen. We'll have to figure out a leg material. Could use a feather tip. Go ahead and wrap this. We'll skip the rib because there's going to be a lot going on this one, so skip the rib for now. A little bit more. That's good. And then we'll do a wing case, turkey. No, we'll do something special for the wing case. There's a technique called the trigger point. So we'll take some laser dub and I'm gonna ball it up like this, or rope it up rather, And then we'll just tie that in for our wing case. Try to draw it as best I can to lengthen it. And we'll wrap it. And then we can do some try to do some hackle tip legs. This is a nice hen soft hackle. And I'm going to use the tip section for the legs. So I'm going to chop off the tip as our tie-in point. Then we'll fold it over, preen those feathers back, just so we can see what we're doing. And then we will dub the rest of it. We'll just use this leftover blend that we had previously, a little bit darker. Go ahead and wrap our thorax. Try not to trap any of that hen hackle. We'll fold over the hen hackle, sweeping our legs back. Kind of poking to the side, which is not ideal. However, we'll take our trigger point wing case, which is looking sparse, and then we can fold it over. I've got some work to do here. Yeah, we drew too much of the feather, of the wing case. We drew it too far back, so we're losing the coverage. But honestly, I don't think it matters. Try to sink that down. Sinking that thread down will push those legs back. And now we have to just manage this stuff. I mean, it'll work, but not the best tie. Certainly not the best tie. From the bottom side, it looks pretty good. From the top side, it does not look good at all. Maybe we try that again. You could, if you really care, you could come in with a drop of UV or resin and place it right on that wing case. We can try it. We've got nothing to lose. This is quite a gloopy UV or resin. So I'll get some of this gloopy one. And you want to use a thick. You don't want that to permeate into the. Oh, that's too much. That way too much. Way too much. You don't want it to permeate into the. UV. You just kind of want it to sit on top. This one might be too gloopy. Yeah, too gloopy. Too gloopy. But too gloopy. Maybe we finish with a less gloopy. Ooh, right on there. That's not going to be good. It's going to soak into it too much. I think we just ruined that fly. What if? I should have, when I glooped it, I should have flipped it and let the gravity work it. But not our finest. Not the finest pattern. I'm gonna let it dry, so facing down and up, so that hopefully it can save it. I think maybe we stop here. Yeah. All right, let's review. We didn't get much done today. That's okay, I gotta work. Singer. Is that MN, Minnesota? NIMBY, what's up, NIMBY? We started with olive hare's ear type, but we put a purple buyout tail on it. Then we went more of a standard PT CDC collar. And then we tried to finish off with a beefier hare's ear with a soft hackle tail, but we jacked up the wing case pretty royally. Maybe it'll still work. All right, I'm out of here, and be well, all of you, and catch a fish.